This is the plaintiff, Tawana Grant. She says she purchased the puppy from the defendant, and the vet said the puppy has a defective condition and should never have been sold. She's suing the defendant for $2,490.50 for the cost of the dog and vet bills. This is the defendant, Lynn Uwas. She says the dog had a very common problem among the breed, and it corrects itself with neutering. This woman had the dog in her possession for a year, and she's not returning any money to her because she sold a healthy dog. She's accused of refusing a refund.
All parties, please raise your right hand. People's Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Marilyn Williams not presiding. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Okay, Ms. Grant, so about 2 years ago, you purchased a baby Rottweiler from Ms. Uhas, correct?
Yes.
How much did you pay?
$1,800.
And was there a problem with the puppy?
The whole time I had spoke with Lynn through the time that the mother was pregnant up until the day we picked him up. She kept us informed, and she told me on his visit that he had a testicle that had not descended. And it was very common. It could come down, she said usually they come down about 6 months. So as we started going through his vet appointments, the testicle never dropped. And I kept her informed.
Okay, can I ask you something? Did she ever offer to you for you to wait for another litter rather than taking this dog if it made you nervous or anything like that?
She said, if you feel funny about it, you could wait for the next litter, but this is common. So we said, okay. So as time went on, and every time I went to an appointment, I would text her and tell her, Hondo is good. He's doing this, that, and the third, but his testicle still has not dropped. And then the vet started to explain to me that if the testicle did not drop, that it could be cancerous. They might have to go do an extra surgery to go into his abdomen to find the testicle, things like that. And when I first met Lynn, and I found Lynn online, we've developed a very good relationship. We were able to speak, and I'm not trying to do anything negative to her or to her business at all. I just really wanted to have this settled. And I just felt like as we started going along the process, she was like, more concerned with me wanting the money back. And that was not the case. So I had said to her.
Well, tell me about the process. So what ends up happening? Did your dog get cancer?
No, he doesn't have cancer. He did have to have the surgery for them to go in an extra, all the way into his stomach for the testicle. And they found it up in there somewhere. They found it up in there. But along the way, he would never.
When you say he had to have surgery to go ahead and get it, are you saying a surgery different than the neutering surgery, or did that happen during the neutering?
It happened during the neutering, but it was in addition to. And for this extra surgery, it was $587 extra to go in and do that, in addition to a bacterial analysis that they had to take prior to that because his bacterial levels were high. And
all right, so what is it you're suing for here today? What is it you want to see done?
Well, she can have Hondo back, but
Really?
It's hard to say. It's hard to do that. And
it didn't seem hard to say. You're the first litigant in my life who's ever said that. It seemed really easy to say.
It's easy
What's
to say
the problem?
Judge,
if it got solved with an extra $500, what's the problem? Why would you want to give Hondo back? You've had Hondo for 2 years.
But something is just not right. And this is where Lynn and I disagreed because he would never housebreak. It did not matter what is done. He will not housebreak. And we went to professional training. We went to elimination training, I guess they call it, to help him, put the bell by the door or, for him to give us a signal on, that he needed to go outside. And we would do all of that, and he will not housebreak. So I had said to her.
What's the dog actually doing? Is the dog going to the bathroom in your house and you're constantly having to clean it? Or is the dog going to the bathroom in the crate and you're always having to clean that? What is it that's actually happening?
It's in the crate. in the crate.
So then you have to clean the dog
And-
too.
Right.
Do you
But
think that
just
that had
an
anything to
advice.
do with a non-descending testicle?
I thought so, but the vet said no. No.
But you don't have any evidence of that. In fact, the evidence is to the contrary. Your vet specifically writes in the report that your vet explained to you that one thing has nothing to do with the other. Ms. Uhas, when was the first time that Ms. Grant started to ask for her money back or indicate to you that there was a problem that wasn't a problem you had already told her about?
I did not hear anything about wanting her money back or to give back the dog. Basically, I looked at it as there's nothing wrong with the dog, neutering as the solution. And Miss Grant wasn't giving the dog time or her vet time to neuter the dog. So I did not hear anything from Miss Grant about wanting her money back until February 8th.
Okay. Well, let me
just
ask you
after
this.
the date.
Did she try
February
to get you
8th.
involved in the potty training of the dog?
She did, and I referred her to a trainer. That is, I'm a breeder. Once you purchase the dog, it is yours. I am here to help support, but not train your dog. That's not my forte. I train my own dogs. And if she had a problem housebreaking, I had referred her to see a trainer or, speak with her vet.
So
I
on
also,
February 8th, she sends you a text at 7:14 in the morning. Good morning, this is not getting better. And from my research and what is being told to me by my vet, it won't. But that's not accurate. Your vet didn't say that. Research is telling me
Yes,
that
it
as of now, 5 months old, his testes will not drop. We have tried everything and nothing is working. Now, if the testes doesn't drop during neutering, the vet should be able to take care of it, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
This is not normal. It is greatly affecting his quality of life. I've always shared with you that I do not want to have to put down another dog. And if he has this issue and the testes can't be located, we will run the risk of cancer. Where did all that come from? Because I've looked at the vet bills and the vet reports, and I don't see that either. I don't see that they can't locate it. I see that they could locate it.
Yeah, they located it, but they located it in his abdomen.
Right,
All
that's
the
not
way
can't be
around the
located. We know exactly where it is. All right, and we'll run the risk of cancer. When did the vet ever tell you that you run the risk of cancer? Where does it say that your dog will get cancer?
Yeah, and he didn't put that there, and so that's my fault. But he did
No, it's
explain
not
to
in there.
me.
Okay, all right, I got it. So when the vet did the surgery, the vet did locate the testicle, right? And remove the testicle,
Yes,
right?
in his abdomen. Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Now, your position, and maybe we need to call the vet, your position is, hey, Judge, neutering is on me, and neutering is part of my plan. That 500 and something
It is.
didn't come out of my plan. I had to pay it, and I had to pay it because the testicle never descended. That's
Right.
your position, right? Okay.
Yes. Yes.
So, do you have proof of payment of the 587?
Yes, I do.
Let me talk to you, Ms. Uhas. She tells you sometime in February that she wants her money back. When does she tell you that she wants to give you Hondo back?
She never did. Never.
No, I never sold her that.
Just today is the first time I've ever heard that.
Now, at some point, you offer for her to take the dog to your vet, and you say, and she says, done all that, your vet is no different than mine, so bottom line is you really don't stand by your pups. I believe that the issue is the money for you. For us, no. I am saying a refund, another pup, or court. We paid, as we said, and never asked for anything other than a good, healthy baby. To which you respond, I'm really taken aback by your comment. I do stand behind my dogs. I am asking you to neuter him, and let's see where the road takes us. This is the main course of action, which by your terms would correct why you cannot housebreak him. If in fact your vet is incapable of locating and removing both testicles in his or her surgery, then I will take Hondo Pup back. So here's the deal. Right. You feel then, if I understand you correctly, that the umbilical cord, yada, yada, is not your problem. Bacteria is not your problem. The only thing that was at issue is the undescended testicle. If it was covered with simple neutering, it is not your problem because that's what you always disclose to her. If it wasn't solved, if the undescended testicle, which was still undescended by the time of the neutering, wasn't solved with simple neutering, if she had to pay extra than a neutering charge, do you feel that you would need to cover?
No, because prior to her purchasing the puppy, she was told that it had an undescended testicle. I would have
so
thought
then
that,
explain to me why you kept saying over and over, you're being impatient, let's talk after the neutering. Just because you figured that the neutering would solve it and then there would be nothing to complain about?
Well, basically, I felt that once they neutered the dog, they would, like I said, it would solve the housebreaking issue because that's what she was blaming it on was undescended testicle.
I really don't
And
care about the
undescended
housebreaking
testicle-
issue. I don't
Right,
know how
I'm
to
just
make
saying
this
one
clear.
goes with the
It
other.
is unrelated to
No.
the testicle according to your own vet. The only thing I am concerned about is if she had to pay extra beyond neutering because the problem didn't solve itself. And the only reason I'm grilling you on this is because you say so many times during the text to her that you stand by your pups and let's see if the neutering solves it, if neutering doesn't solve it. So if she right now she has zero proof that neutering didn't solve it. I agree with you. The only thing she shows is that her neutering happened.
Right.
If she's able to show that there was some other surgery required, would you say that that is something that you should be standing behind, or would you say that you still shouldn't be responsible for that? Let me ask you a question, Ms. Grant. Once the neutering happened, was your dog able to be properly potty trained, or still hasn't?
No.
So
No.
it's still a problem?
Yep.
Do you happen to have your plan for me to look at?
I can send it to you. It's a couple of pages long. I didn't know you needed it. I don't have a problem sending it to you.
No, I don't know that I do need it. I don't know that I do need it. Because here's really the deal. We're at trial now, and you're supposed to show me you had to pay. First, you're supposed to show me, let's say the first thing you're suing for, because you're suing for $2,500. The first thing you want is your money back and you want to return the dog. That's not going to happen. That's not the law, and I'm not going to order that. The next thing you want is, hey, based on your representations, neutering should have solved it, and neutering didn't. I had to pay $587.50 for an additional surgery, and I need you to prove that, and you haven't proved that. And you should pay for the bacterial analysis because I wasn't counting on that, but why should she? If it's all stuff you knew about beforehand, then it's stuff you knew about beforehand. These are all things that were explained to you early on, and you took the dog anyway, and things worked out exactly the way they were supposed to, that neutering took care of it. The only thing neutering didn't take care of is your dog's inexplicable lack of potty training, none of which, according to your own vet, has anything to do with a non-descended testicle. I am ruling in this case for the defendant.
Thank you.
So the defendant prevails in this lawsuit. You know, I was intrigued when you said you'd give the dog up after having a dog for 2 years. It's awfully hard to give up a pup.
Yeah,
isn't
it is.
Wouldn't
Yeah,
you be?
it is.
You know?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah. Yeah.
And you've done everything possible. You've talked to trainers, and I have a suggestion for you. Search out on the internet, and you can find them now, psychics who communicate with animals. I only mention this because I've interviewed them before, and they're out there.
Good.
They may be able to talk to your dog and make him change his ways. It's a shot in the dark,
Well,
but
bless
it
your
might
heart.
work. Well, good luck to you. I hope you work things out. All right, let's talk to the defendant, Ms. Uhas.
Yes.
Would you take the dog back if you had to at this point?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You would?
I'm here for the life of our dogs, and I have had 4 dogs come back and found them wonderful homes again. So if he's not in a loving home, then absolutely.
Okay, very good. Well, that's good to know. All right, well, that'll wrap it up for the case then, and that's the way it stands right now. The defendant has prevailed. Let's see what the judges have to say now.
You've had a lot of buyer-breeder cases over the course of your career, and I think you mentioned you've never had another one like this where somebody was going to, you've had them where the dog ends up blind, the dog ends up unable to walk, the dog's in an iron lung, I don't know what else, but the person inevitably
I've never had a
says,
plaintiff say,
we won't
I'd
give it
rather
back."
get that $1,800 and I'll just give you back this dog.
Right.
They'll just
People
sue for other
bond
stuff.
with
They
their
won't sue for the
dogs.
purchase price of the dog because they refuse to give up the dog. I've
Right.
never had a plaintiff say, I'll give up the dog, just give me my $1,800.
Yeah, you seem like you were taken aback a
I
little bit by
was
that,
shocked.
right?
I
A
was
little bit shocked because man, we bond with our dogs. Come
Yeah.
on. But and certainly this plaintiff had a chance early on, was given a heads up that the dog had the undescended testicle, and that she would have a chance to get a different one. She could have said, no, I don't want that one, I'll wait.
She just right. She could have had her, I'm sure, her deposit back at that point and then just wait for another litter. Because that's what the breeder said. Do you want to wait for a different litter?
Right.
And, because this happened, and she said, nope, I want it. So she must have done her research on whether it would be a problem, and it's a very common thing. It could not be a problem. And then she takes the dog to the vet after and the vet tells her, it's not going to be a problem. I don't know. My impression, what's yours, that she's just frustrated that the dog won't potty train?
That really seems to be the nub of the problem here. And I was impressed, too, by the defendant saying at the end, yeah, of course I'd take Hondo back. And, that's how we feel about our pets. Mark Twain said, heaven goes by.
Okay, David wants to know this. Hey, Harvey, let's say I win a case in small claims court for $5,000 and the person lost their job from COVID. How do I collect the money? Well, first of all, I think we all have to be a little bit compassionate here, a lot compassionate given what's going on. At the same time, if you want a judgment, you're entitled to the money. You should know that in most states, these judgments are good for 10 years. So even if you can't collect now because of what's going on in this world, you may be able to collect down the line. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case inside the courtroom.